brothers? What's going on? We got this is I don't even want to even know. I can't even say if this is going to even be part two of the of an update of the brick lady, but it's a lot of stuff that Dr. Umar said, and I don't want to. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to use the word contradiction, but I felt like with this, Dr. Umar kind of dodges a lot of questions, and I didn't want to do the whole thing, so we're just going to just start at the 34 mark. I think it's 34, but it's going to be a lot, and I'm going to be chiming in along with my brother here on it, light skinned brother. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to say his name. Y'all can find out later. But it's a lot. It's a lot that Dr. Umar said, and sometimes I feel like with Dr. Umar, I get it with us men of color, especially you men of color that are here in America. I do believe that we should hold ourselves accountable for the things that we don't that is going on here in society. But I feel like we're getting blamed for a lot of things that we're not even doing, and that's something that I don't like. Black men are already, according to society, we're already at the bottom of the totem pole. We look like savages. 2023, we pretty much look like savages with all the stuff that was going on. We had the queen maker making black men look like trash. We had the brick lady that basically made black men. We had a lot of different episodes going on in 2023 that made black men look like animals and savages. And to be honest with you, a lot of the women of color of America helped in doing that. So we're gonna have Dr. Umar speak. He's gonna be asked a question, and he's gonna kind of dodge the question, and it's gonna be further on from there. But he's gonna kind of put all the onus on black men when it comes to all the problems that's going on in society. So again, I'm gonna be chiming in here and there on this. Let's get to it.
Watching you do it. No other man goes public and condemns his women the way black men do. And I'm not going to co-sign that because it's wrong. You don't see Chinese men going live talking about everything wrong with Chinese women. When you ever see that? When you ever see the Latino men go live and totally crucify Latino women? We do.
Now, brother, before I continue, what he's talking about is a lot of the men on these YouTube podcasts. He says that we condemn women, the black woman, the black women of America. We're the only race that does that, and more than likely, in a way, he's correct to a certain extent. What I see on a lot of these YouTubers, what they're doing is they're pointing out a lot of the damage that a lot of our women are doing, and I'm also on YouTube myself, and what I do is I give out advice, knowledge, and wisdom, and things that a lot of our men should avoid from our women. But a lot of these other races, they have a structure. See, the thing is, we don't have no structure here. We're just basically doing whatever the hell we want to do. The women are doing whatever the hell they want to do, and there are people that's trying to fix it, but it's only a little bit. But I don't like the fact that Dr. Umar is going to try to put everything on the men, especially the black men. Let's go ahead and continue.
We do it. And you know what's dangerous about it? Who the most sexually trafficked? Black women. Who the most raped? Black women. Domestically abused? Black women. So you mean to tell me our women got it the worst? And on top of that, we going to go public and tell the world we don't even care about them or want them no more. I got the same condemnation, but I will not do that to her in public. We got to have a stand.
Now, okay, let's talk about this. Last week or the other week, we saw the girl with the swollen face.
Yes.
You came out and you said that, let me frame this a little different. Last week, there was a story that came out with a black woman that had a reaction on her face. She alleged that some people beat her up for not giving her a number. You came out about that and kind of was critical about those men. that came out to be a hoax.
We don't know that. Some people say it's not a hoax.
I've seen several pictures and videos. I mean, could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I've seen several videos of her trying this, like several GoFundMe's year after year, where she's literally, oh, these guys, and this first time it's been that crazy, look that big, but she's had smaller ones where she's pulled this off before.
I don't know, because I put up a post that a sister sent me and said you need to hold her accountable because she made this up. And then everybody else started commenting under this, said it wasn't made up, and this is what you need to look at. So I still don't know what the truth
But let's,
is.
for the sake of conversation, if you were wrong, do you think that, man, I probably should have looked a little more into that? Do you ever,
Because there's nothing wrong with holding black men to a standard of behavior in public.
Now, y'all heard what this brother said, and y'all see how he's kind of dodging the question. But go ahead, Real.
That's crazy that even when in the midst of it, he's saying hold her accountable, but I guess the comments was like it wasn't a lie. And he's like, I don't know. That was when he should have went out and made the effort to find out a little more information rather than just chalking it up to it could not, because that's going to take away a lot of divinity when it comes to problems in this world. We shouldn't, and you shouldn't depend on the comment section. I know that's probably where you get a lot of your information, ideas, and you hold the comments to a high level. But if you now found some new information and you're saying now hold her accountable, and then the comments are telling you something else, that's when you say, let me go check this out. I don't want to be wrong because there's real victims. And instead of doing that, we're about to hear what he's about to do, which is crazy to me.
Right. And brothers, keep in mind, he said that a sister, I'm sure that it was a so-called black woman, told him that it was a lie, and you didn't do your research. But watch how he flips it, brothers, on you. Watch how he flips it on you, brothers.
When it comes to our sisters.
that wasn't even there?
Well,
Nothing happened.
remember now, even if it didn't happen to her, black women are being choked out and murdered by their black male lovers on a regular basis. It's still
But
an
this
issue.
wasn't that situation.
It may have not.
You see what he just did, brothers? You see exactly what he just did? He dodged the question and threw it right back on you to say, and this is not the first time I've heard somebody say something like this. I've heard a female say the same thing. Oh, well, women are getting killed every 17 or 19 seconds.
On a regular basis, bro. He said on a regular basis. That means
Right.
every other relationship that you see and hear about, it's someone's the black man's beating and harming the black woman. That is crazy for him to even believe that.
Exactly. And brothers, here's the thing. I'm sure that I'll say this. I'm sure that every week there's some type of domestic violence going on. But is it always the man? If we're just and I'm just going to just say every week, is it always the man? Do we count when women are verbally abusive? Is that considered domestic? When a woman is verbally abusive
Nope.
to a man?
Certain states, yes, but not all states. Certain
Right.
states, they're starting. I wish they would do that in every state, because there are men that deal with that daily. Now, I don't want to take away from what we're talking about. That she's getting funds from making up the whole situation for real victims. But I will say that is why this is a horrible way of looking at things, because it kind of like waters down the problems that we can really like get rid of, especially when they go viral. So that's even better, because usually we don't see this. So if it goes viral, it's going to be on every media. So this is why I think that when people do this, and that goes for anything, you're profiting from what is hurting us and killing us and what's dividing us. You should be an example. You should. The fact that it's something that became a topic and no one's looking at it, no one's highlighting the fact that people are really getting hurt and women are real victims of these issues. But when you have someone like this guy right here, that would have, if he would have did a little bit more effort, just a little bit, he could have just pointed out a problem that would help a lot of us diagnose a lot of things we see online a little better. I think we need someone to push research. We need someone to push that. That's important for us. We never do the research, and that's why we were waiting for an easy way to hear information. And people that are going to be on the forefront of information, like I feel like he is the guy that will always bring something up, but he needs to push that.
Right.
That's all.
So again, brothers, I have no problem. What's up? What's going on, logos, brothers? I have no problem. Again, we as men have to fix it. It's up to us to fix the community. But I don't like the fact that Dr. Umar is dodging. He's basically dodging the question. That's all he's doing. I hope everything is all right with you, logos. Let's continue.
Not been, but
Yeah.
my point is I'm not going to draw the energy back because
When-
that awareness that's coming from my commentary is still very much needed out there because black women are being abused and ignored.
So at the expense of the black man, though,
It's not
because
at an
black,
expense.
I'm
You
telling
didn't
you,
lose
black
nothing.
men, no, black men are not that they're not riding with you. And I want to be clear,
Right,
they're
right,
still
right.
riding with you,
Yeah.
but they're whispering. Man, I kind of didn't. I don't know what that was
No,
about.
they
What
want
the-
me to beat the women up. I'm not going to do it. I tell them right now, I'm never going to do that.
No, when you're wrong about nobody let her get beat up. And
We
also,
don't
are you
know.
asking black men? I'm saying let's entertain it for the sake of conversation. And also, are you asking black men to put their lives on the line for? Would you put your life on the line for a woman you don't know and leave your children?
Black woman?
Yeah, black
Yes,
woman.
we don't
right
have a
now.
choice. That's part of being a man.
Right now.
Yes.
And leave your daughters without a father.
Dr. King did it. Malcolm did
No,
it.
I'm
Malcolm
asking Dr. Umar.
Now, you see what he just did? Now, Malcolm was on a movement. Martin Luther King was on a movement. What is his movement? Because all he speaks about is Pan-African. And I don't see anybody, I'm not saying that men wouldn't put their life on the line, but we're talking about random women. Most of our women here today are out of control. So we don't know what has happened. We may see a domestic dispute between a man and a woman. So you're just going to just go out there and just put your life on the line for a woman and you have no idea what happened?
Yeah, that's a fact. And I'm glad that there was a barrage of wives that came on social media saying, "I don't want my husband to recklessly be protecting people in these circumstances because they got a home to get to." Now, if they can, if they when in fact can avoid any action that leads to them getting hurt, yes, take it. But when you're in an environment where people are reckless, why? No, they want their husbands to come home. The last thing these women, it wasn't all wives, it was just women that were in committed relationships. They have a family. For him to say that it could take anybody for him to do that, that blind loyalty to just the fact that you're trying to prove that you're this loyal to being pro-black or whatever you are, is sad, because you need to set the tone for, being rational in positions. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to him. He thinks that he's on that revolutionary level of a movement like they are. He
Right.
thinks he's the modern day. So
And brothers, we don't. This ain't 1960. He's not. Look, he's a great speaker, but he's no Marcus Garvey. He's definitely not a Martin Luther King, and he is not a Malcolm X. So at the end of the day, brothers, it is not your responsibility to be going to save somebody. You got women out here now where two dudes are fighting over a woman. And guess what happens? You got one that goes to jail. You got one that goes 6 feet deep. And guess what the woman does? She'll cry them crocodile tears for 3 or 4 days. And then after that, she goes out and gives sloppy toppy to a new man and start the process all over again. So, brothers, do you really want to go out there and just be saving somebody, some random female? And my brother here already said it. There were females that said they don't even want their man to do that because they want their man to be able to come home to them. I can understand it for the family member, but just a random woman, and I don't even believe what's his name? Dr. Umar would even do that. But let's continue because he's just doing this just for TV.
right.
But let's continue, brothers.
Umar.
Yes, it's part of who.
Okay.
Nobody wants to die. I don't have a death wish.
Right.
But I understand as a man, my obligation is to every black woman, not just the one I'm married to and the ones I gave birth to.
No, sir.
Right, sounds good. I like that. It definitely, I mean, because I'm saying,
They
you know,
should, if a black woman
some
sees
black women will teach you as a young black male.
Uh-huh.
Now, here's a conundrum. Some black women will teach you as a young black kid. Don't you jump in that. It ain't got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
You need to make it home to little tie-tie and little run-run.
And I think that's appropriate for the children. But for grown men, it's not appropriate.
So he needs to rewire himself as his teaching. His teaching was you mind your business, they bother your family, then that's one thing. But
What if we had that mentality when the Ku Klux Klan was terrorizing neighborhoods back in the Willie Lynch days? What if
Dr. Umar, come on, man. You really brought up that's the Ku Klux Klan. You're trying. You can't compare that to trying to save a random woman. That's not the same thing.
That's crazy.
I don't even know why you even brought that up, Dr. Umar. Again, you're a great speaker, but I don't think you actually thought this through because from what I've seen from your previous interviews, some of them brothers are not coming at you like this. So now you got a brother that's actually coming at you, and you coming out with silly answers. But hey, if you plan on doing all that, that's fine. I don't suggest for any of you brothers to go out there and just go play Captain Kirk, put on a cape, and just start saving random women. That you ain't Batman, you ain't Superman, you are not part of Justice League, even though it's a cartoon. It ain't gonna work, brothers. It ain't gonna work.
That's a fact. And the fact that I'm glad he said, so you expect a boy grown into maturity as an adult male to rewire precautionary measures when it comes to implementing yourself in to counteract something. So this is why we have precautionary measures, and we want to make sure the environment's suitable to for us to be to live in. So if these are a little micro level of directions that adults do to young boys growing up when it comes to danger. They're giving them awareness. So I understand the level of prevention I can have in certain scenarios, but is as you grow up as an adult, you start understanding more about life, and you start understanding that there's grown people with mental illnesses. So then now, I take my wives to more, better, even though it can happen anywhere, but we got to be preventative when it comes to our environment. And
Right.
when most of these problems are happening in the inner cities, more than any other class of life at all. So when we think about these extreme situations, where she was at, it was in a very induced troublesome area anyway. Like, and I'm not saying it's excusable, but you have to know as a man when and when not to say. You have to say at one moment he's saying he has blind loyalty, at another moment he's saying, well, I'm not, I know when to stop. But you're not. What message are you saying? You're saying because she's simply a black woman, I should just do it. What other thought? I don't care if I have daughters, I don't care if I have a wife at home. Because of my dedication, no, that's not the way it works. That's not the way it works. And I think this is disturbing, because you're right, Slim. I'm glad you said this. The other podcast that he will get on, he's more prepared as far as how he throws a lot of red herrings. Like, he'll bring up something that is emotionally driven by the audience and misdirect the conversation and bring up something extreme, and then he'll go on a tangent about it. So this guy can stay on the topic, and he can really say some practical things. And as a man, we're all looking at this dude like, Dr. Umar, come on, man. Come on, dude. This is your time to be realistic. And this is why I get information from these people for what it is. I know when they're trying to make a buck, and I know when they can bring some reality into the conversation. this is not even realistic, because I know for a fact if he was in an area where that's happening, like when he's seen one and he saw the environment and looked at what was going on between two people, he's not going to just do it. He's going to think 3 times before he decides to even react, if he's going to do that.
Right.
So I don't know why. It's just crazy, man, but that's all.
All right, let's continue. Let's see what else he got to say.
What if we said, I'm only going to worry about the Klan when they knock on my door? They would have picked us apart. We had to organize. Black people are no longer used to organizing because of our self-hate and selfishness. The only way we come out of this is by working together. That's it. And even though we talk about the celebrities, we might as well leave them out the conversation because they're not going to be a major part in what we do until after we do it. No black celebrity has ever played a major financial role in any of our movements. So I don't know why black people keep looking to them. We don't own them. White people own them. They are corporate products. LeBron, Dion, they are owned by the white power structure. They're not coming over here. They will after we win. They'll come drop some money off later, but they won't be there in the beginning. We got to do this ourselves. And we should, because we are $2 trillion people. Black people have more money than any single celebrity except maybe Oprah. We got more money than everybody else.
Is that on a yearly, annually?
Annually.
Yeah.
We $2 trillion.
So before he continued, let me tell you the reason why he speaks on these celebrities so much is because I don't believe any of the celebrities has ever gave him money for this school that he keeps talking about that he's working on. The school was supposed to open in 2023. Brothers, today is the 5th of February, 2024. He has been talking about this school for over 10 years, and it's still not open. Now, I know I haven't gave any money, but I'm not even sure what exact. I think he wants to teach, I guess, quote unquote, how to be black in these schools. I don't know. But again, that's why he keeps harping on these celebrities, because none of them have gave him any money. He's gotten money, but I don't believe he's gotten any money from any of the celebrities. That's why he harps on them so much. But what he is saying is true, that they are owned by white people. That is a true statement. But that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and continue.
Oprah not worth $2 trillion. Puffy ain't $2 trillion. Jay-Z ain't worth. You see what I'm saying? We $2 trillion.
Yeah.
So why is it people worth $2 trillion? Why is it people worth $2 trillion keep trying to scapegoat billionaires? You see, and in their defense, you know what I say? In their defense, how are you gonna expect a billionaire to sacrifice $1 billion when you wouldn't even sacrifice a couple $100? It's not fair. They're not. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now take my school. No celebrity has donated to FDMG, and I know plenty of celebrities.
No celebrity.
Not one has made a donation, and I know plenty of them. Right?
That's what I mean about the brand tampering. Do you think it's because of some of the?
I think they're fearful of my message. I believe they are afraid, because most of them got white people in their circles. Very few of them have a total black team. Most of them got white folks running around. And I think they're afraid of being associated with my name.
I don't see, I mean, I can see.
But once the small school gets up and running, some of them might donate then because they say I was serious. Because I think some of them was also influenced by the hate.
That's what I'm saying. That's the brand tampering of people saying,
yeah.
hey, this is a scam. Hey, this might not be doing that,
Yeah.
And people like, I ain't knocking it, but I ain't supporting it.
Right.
Like, I really don't know what's going on. And he hard. I like how he talk.
Right.
I mess with him, but I'm going to stay on this side. I really don't know what the guy doing. Like,
Right.
dig what I'm saying? He talking about snow bunny never and all kind of, like, I don't know what the guy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it's sometimes I be thinking like, you know, why won't these celebrities give? Because again, everybody
Well,
knows.
let's be honest though. It ain't just me. They don't really give to black community anything. They do United Way, Democratic Party, you know.
Because they won't access the power. You don't got no power.
They want proximity to. No, I got a lot of power. They just don't want my kind of power.
So
I got black power. They want access to white
What
power.
happened to black power? It seemed like
Brothers, what the hell is black power? What is that? Is it you raising your fist up and saying black power? Again, I've already said this earlier. Black is just a color. See, This man has talked about pan-African, pro-black, he Afrocentric. What is it that he's teaching? So I don't know, bro. I don't really get into that black power stuff because it's so much stuff associated with black power. You have the homosexual community, you have transgenders, you have all type of crazy bullshit that is tied into this quote unquote black power. So we got to watch some of the words that we use. But let's go ahead and continue.
Like that word evolved to like woke or conscious or like, and it lost people. It's like they split it up. It used to be black power and it's just like a group of us, and now it's like you got your conscious folk, you got your these folk.
You know why? Because a lot of black people in the conscious movement don't want to be considered black or African. So woke and all of that did evolve. You're correct, because I don't want to be associated with blackness or Africanness.
And black power.
It was a self-hate thing. It's the same way Pan-Africanism became black nationalism. Why did Pan-African? I love you too, Mama. Be blessed now. Oh, tomorrow, just so y'all know, I'm speaking at Tennessee State New Residence Hall Conference Room, 10 a.m. to 12. If any of y'all want to come, it's going to be a Q&A session.
She loves you, Dr. Umar.
It's free, so just pull up. Bring buddies, bring whatever you want to bring.
Break
No
buddies.
I'm just playing with you. But black nationalism was a knockoff from Pan-Africanism, because after Garvey got deported, most of the black national leaders who came after them wasn't interested in building a relationship with Africa. So that's how the Pan-African nationalism became the black. We've always had a problem wanting to be black. That's why you got black people running around now saying they're not from Africa at all. I'm Native American. I've been here since the beginning. Well, that's absolutely ridiculous, because every scientific study has proven unequivocally, indisputably, that all humanity originated in Africa. So there's no such thing as you didn't come from Africa, because everybody did. You see? But the self-hate is so that you got Negroes say, I'm a Cherokee, I'm a Choctaw, I'm a this or that. Don't get me wrong, we have some of those bloods in us because we mixed with them. But having a little bit of Cherokee in you don't stop you from being an African. You don't find a white person with a great-great-grandparent from Africa, and now they no longer a Jew. They still a Jew. They just got...
Thank you, Holistic. Yes, it is a lot of misinformation, and this is what get a lot of people confused. That's why people don't, and listen, I didn't even know where I was really from, to be honest with you. The fact that my parents are from the West Indies, I mean, I still had to do my research and find out where my whole family is from. You got a lot of people that don't know where they're from. You got people now that don't even know who their father is, don't even know who their grandfather is or their grandparents. So you really don't, a lot of people don't know where they're from. You can't just say that you're from Africa. Again, Africa is a continent. So what part of Africa are you from? You had black people that lived in Europe. You had there's actually men and women of color that live in the Philippines. There is a tribe out there of men and women of color in the Philippines, and you can look it up yourself. So we can't just say that everybody's from Africa. We can't say that. If you've ever been to the Middle East, you got some people out there that just as dark as I am. Are they originally from Africa? And even got the same hair texture as me. So, Dr. Umar, you kind of gotta watch what you say. You talking about science. Y'all don't believe everything on Ancestry.com. Let's continue.
They just got a black grandfather somewhere. But when a Negro finds out he got some Caucasian blood, he stops being black completely. He's a total Italian. They won't even let his ass in the church.
Well, so this will be probably our last sequence. I want to talk about Trump and specifically the charges that he's facing. What's your feelings on all of the various indictments that Dr.
I got
Trump
a couple. Number one, a lot of this is being done by the Democratic Party because they don't want Trump available to run because there's a strong chance he wins. And now that they've turned him into a political martyr, they have just made his electoral base that much stronger. They just gave him votes by doing that. So
why don't the old power structure understand that that has an adverse reaction to like arrest this guy when he's been Teflon to these, like all of these little attempts to like smear him, they don't work for him.
Well, the problem that most traditional politicians have with Trump, even within the Republican Party, he's not a traditional politician. He's a businessman. They hate the fact that a businessman came over into the presidential race and won it his first time. See that? Now, here's the problem that the power structure has with Donald Trump. Because you know they select presidents before you vote for them. The problem with Donald Trump as president is he thinks he's actually in charge. He don't understand. You are an employee. We tell you what to do. Donald Trump doesn't have a political background, so he don't know the president.
Scribbling outside the lines.
Right? Obama knew. I'm just a flunky. Biden knew, because they are career politicians. Trump think if I'm CEO, I'm CEO. No, ninja. It just looks like you CEO. Remember, he didn't support the COVID. He didn't support the immigration.
Went against CIA.
He went against the LGBTQ. They're like, what are you doing? You're going against our major initiatives. So if they decide to let him win again, they're going to have a conversation with him. Because they're going to tell him, listen, you can't go against this, this, or we'll have to kill you.
Because he exposed a lot. He exposed a lot.
No, that's what they do. They kill folks.
Let me tell you something. I'm not into politics at all. But what I will say is this. I think the reason why they don't really want Trump in office, and this is just my personal opinion, is because he conducts himself like a man. And I think it's just the fact that he has, not to say he doesn't have respect for women, but he's a man's man. He ain't gonna tolerate no bullshit from some of the from a lot of these people. And on top of that, I believe that he's going to expose a lot of things that has been going on in the White House. He's probably going to pull out some documents that has been hidden, been closed up, because I believe he was going to expose a lot of stuff that was going on with MLK and JFK. A lot of sealed documents. So I think go ahead.
He's my fault for interrupting you.
No, you good. You good.
He's doing exactly what a president is supposed to do, and I think that this was more of how the traditional sense of being a president was. He was giving the people the information. The people had the majority of the masses ruled what was going on for the people. So he's a businessman, yes, and I think that's what ultimately Dr. Umar was saying. He's exposing what they created to be a profit margin for whatever the evils behind the scenes want to be, because everything that he's exposing is the hypocrisy. He cares about one thing. Hey, the left doesn't care about kids. Trump cares about kids.
Right.
He's a real American. He's like you say, he's a man's man. And those are two things that are a problem in today's society, with the left leading with a lot of conditions, and what's popular in media is that they don't care about kids and they don't care about men. And Trump understands the structure has to be reinforced and reintroduced again for America to be great again. And we can look at history for what it was, but obviously we made adjustments and we're making changes. And though even as a black man or a man of color, as you would say, just as long as it was down, it might take as long for it to get back up. So I don't expect to see the changes that we all want for everybody to be today, tomorrow, in the next couple of years. We can do micro level changes by putting in the community service. or make minor adjustments to just other communities and neighborhoods that need it. But right now, the big change is going to take some time. But yeah, Trump is what is the biggest fear for what they're trying to do today. He's literally back in the day where they had to, they was wearing tighter clothes and jumpsuits and stuff. And Trump is like being reintroduced. And I think what he's going to be the domino effect of what we're going to be seeing, no matter who we get in the presidency in the future. He's the domino effect. So when he becomes president, which he will, he's going to introduce the traditional aspects that was needed all this time.
Right. I'll be honest with you, brothers. I personally don't think he's going to be president. I think all the powers above him, all them powers is going to try. If he becomes president, I'll be shocked. But I think all them powers is going to try their best to keep him from becoming president. But if he does become president, be prepared because there's going to be some stuff that's going to be exposed. So y'all better be prepared for that. But let's go ahead and continue.
And they don't want to have to kill him because he's too popular. You feel me?
Right, and it's gonna be clear as day that y'all.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they're gonna have to sit him down and tell him, listen, man, your second term can't be like your first term. We need you to chill a little bit. Stay off the COVID stuff. Stay off the gay stuff. You feel me? The rest of the cowboy shit you do, you straight.
Right.
But stay off of these things.
Right.
But the Democrats are going to try to keep him tied up so he can't run.
Now with that indictment,
If he runs, he wins.
Yeah, he wins. Yeah, but I'm looking at that indictment, number one, for what Trump, I feel like it's a global circus, right? We're arresting the president. It's just all kind of stuff going on. But I'm more examining the fact that Fonnie Willis out of Atlanta, which is the prosecutor, she's the same person that indicted Young Thug, YFN Lucci, a lot of different people down there in regards to RICO charges. And what's happening is that Fonnie is using this RICO charge in an unprecedented way, right? There's no case law on it. And so she's casting a very wide net. I'm wondering if her charging Trump exposes the Young Thug and the YFN Lucci overreaching, right? Because I think you put billionaires in your business and they comb get a little thicker. It's like, it's a fine tooth comb they looking at stuff with. And I'm wondering, is there an opportunity for them to say, yo, you're reaching like you did with Trump, you did the same thing with and they kind of lump that in like, yo, you reaching with all these guys. You're just a reacher.
I think.
Brothers, before Dr. Umar gets into that, let me tell you something. These rappers that's making all this money, I don't understand this RICO charge. I know what RICO is, but you making all this money and you still out here doing dumb shit? Like, I don't understand that at all. I'm not really into politics and all this other crazy bullshit. But why still keep doing the dumb shit? You got all this money, you making thousands of dollars, millions, and you still over here doing street shit. I never understood that. And it's always our people. Like you want to keep that same image. Why would you not, if you have the opportunity to move out of the hood and keep yourself out the hood, why not stay out the hood? Why do you have to go back? It's like, why do you want to keep that image? I never understood that. And I don't know who this female politician is. I've heard negative stuff about her, but I really don't know nothing about her. So I don't check up on that stuff. Was there anything you wanted to say real before I continue?
No, you kept it real. No.
So, brothers, y'all, I'm going to just say, y'all not really going to hear me talk I know a lot about politics, but I don't talk too much about it because I'm just not interested in it. Really not. That's just me. But let's continue.
I think it's all political theater at the end of the day. I'll be surprised if he do any real time. Now, I do want to say this, because you got some black people say, you look at Joe Biden and what he didn't do. Trump and Biden are equal, or maybe Trump was a little better. I reject that, because I look at the fact that Donald Trump signed more death execution warrants than any president in American history since slavery.
And explain what those is for the viewers that
People
don't.
are on death row. The president can either stall it,
Execute it.
execute them, or pardon them. Trump signed like 2 or 3 of them his last days in office. So you're about to leave. You're not even the president no more. And you still found time to kill a few more people. And 1 or 2 of them was black.
Did he really? I didn't know he did that. Wait a minute. And then he said 1 or 2 of them were black. So did he really do that?
He's only concerned about the fact that he signed off on it because they're black. The guys did the crime. They weren't innocent. Some people just don't believe in the death penalty. And yeah, the president can prolong or on rare occasions have an alternative. So most people don't believe it. I don't know his views on the death penalty, period. So I don't know if it's just because they're black. He would have to prove that they were innocent and he signed off on it. But since he hasn't, unless he's going to say they were innocent, I don't know what he's talking about. And why wouldn't he? That's what I'm asking.
I guess that's something I would have to look at. I mean, I would have to look. I would advise you, bro, just to look at that on your own time to find out exactly what is the crime that if he signed up on, they must have did some really horrendous crimes. So it's something that we have to look at. But what about, I'm surprised he didn't speak about the fact that there was people, he let, who was it? What's his name? The rapper that he helped release. So he signed up on his release. Damn, I forgot that.
I don't know his name, but I know what you're talking about. He got him released. He brought
Kodak Black.
No, he didn't. I'm not gonna say
Kodak Black.
Kodak Black. Yeah, and that dude, he has some crazy allegations against him.
Exactly.
Like rape, like in multiple states. So
and I don't think that was the only rapper either. There was another. I know for Kodak Black was one of them. I know I think there was another rapper, but I don't know. I guess he didn't look at that. He looked past that, and I don't even know if Kodak Black should have been let free anyway. But again,
that's how I feel. He shouldn't have been let free. Because that man did something. He took advantage of women. So.
Exactly. But let's go ahead and continue.
So I look at that. I look at the disrespect he showed for slavery, what we've been through. Anytime he had a chance to show that he didn't care about black folks, he showed it. So I can't vote for nothing like that. And for me, I don't think we should be voting for either one. What we should be doing is organizing our votes. We should have a black political union, and then we negotiate with the nominee of each party. In other words, Trump, you're the nominee for the Republicans. Biden, you're the nominee for the Democrats. Well, guess.
I'm sorry. I know I'm stopping a lot, but where is it that? See, I wish Dr. Umar would have expounded on the fact that he said that Trump didn't care about black people. Now, if he would have said that about George W. Bush, I'll give him that. Clinton, I'll give him that. But where is it that he doesn't care about black people? I'm trying to figure that out. What? Let's go ahead and continue.
Well, guess what? I represent the Black Political Union of America. We're not a party. We're just a conglomerate of black votes, and we are pledging to vote in the same direction. There's 50 million blacks in America. I got 20 million black votes. What are you going to give me? What are you going to give me? And guess what? Whatever they promise you, they have to deliver. You know why? Because if you got 20 million votes, you dictate who wins every time. Because presidential elections are often decided by less than 3 million. You got 20 million. They're going to do whatever you tell them to do. The problem with black people, we never organize our vote along a black community platform. We've always served the Democratic plantation, the Republican plantation. We know we're going to get tired of that and say it's time for us to pull our votes out of both and vote as a people. That's what we need to do. But you know what? Nobody wants us to vote as a people, Brother Todd. You know why? Black politicians do not want black people with an organized vote. Why don't your black elected officials in Tennessee want you organized? Because now you could hold them accountable. So now you're going to make them fight the white people they've been having tea and biscuits with. Now he got to go and fight the snow bunny he's been sleeping with to bring back resources to Nashville. Nobody wants black people organized. Not white politicians, not black politicians, because an organized black community is a powerfully dangerous black community. All we got to do is organize, y'all. But we got to stop being lazy, complacent, and we got to stop thinking we could do everything on social media. That's another issue. One thing I respect about the Jehovah's Witnesses, You see them on YouTube recruiting?
They
Do you see the Jehovah's Witnesses on TikTok recruiting? They still knock on your door. The Jehovah's Witnesses have not changed their street strategy. I got a speech and language impairment. Street strategy yet. They still knocking on doors. Why we don't knock on doors no more? We want to do everything with Twitter fingers. They can't do that. You got to get in black people's face and make them feel you and let them know that you're sincere, and then they'll come out for you. We got to go back to old-fashioned street organizing, and we got to organize that black dollar. I don't care how much we march.
Brothers, in my personal opinion, I don't think we should be voting at all. But that's up to you. I don't vote. But that organized, I do agree with him to a certain extent. But when it comes to putting someone in office, it's going to take more than just, because somebody can't just come out the woodworks and then all of a sudden you want to start supporting them. So, a lot of times you got to start from the ground up. I mean, you might have to get a child and ingrain in him exactly what you want to become you might want him to become a politician. So it might take a village to let that child, to let him know or her know this is the things that you need to fight for. And once he gets old enough and he's able to get into office, he'll remember that. So it's going to take a lot, brother. It ain't going to just work with somebody just coming out the woodworks and then all of a sudden they want to start, they want to get into politics or they just come out of nowhere and all of a sudden, oh, they sound good. They speaking a good word and all of a sudden they in office and they not doing what they supposed to do. So it's gonna okay. But yeah, brother, it's gonna take a lot. So, but again, I don't vote, so I don't care. I'll vote for whoever y'all want. Just make sure it's a good vote. I'm gonna still get paid at the 1st of the 15th.
March. I don't care how much we protest. Until we organize the black dollar, we'll never have black power. The dollar equals power. You got to organize.
Last thing. You are one of the best speakers. It's probably my third, fourth time saying that, because again, I study this, so I know what it takes to do it, and you're one of those guys. Who would you put? I've heard you say before you feel like you're the greatest black speaker, period.
Of this day.
Of this day, yeah, of this day.
Not history, yes.
Dr. Umar Johnson versus Farrakhan.
That would not be fair because, in all due respect to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he's in his 90th decade. To put him against me at this time, it wouldn't be fair.
But he is,
he's still
living.
No, he's still a great speaker. Don't get me wrong.
Are you saying that because you feel like your youth outwits him, or are you saying that because his experience, it just isn't fair because he's been doing it much more longer than you've been doing it?
For me, I would personally consider it arrogant to compare myself to an elder.
Period.
Period.
So how can you make the statement that I am the greatest speaker of this day? That's a comparison indirectly, right?
Well, you could say that, but I would not include elders in that conversation. For me, they are a protected class, so they're not even considered in that conversation, right? Like Jesse Jackson, in his youth, he was one hell of a public speaker. You right? Minister Sharpton, a great speaker. Okay. Minister Farrakhan, a great speaker, but they're elders now, so I wouldn't want to compare myself directly to an elder. Now, if you say
sound like you running from the smoke, I'm gonna be honest.
No, but they're elders. Right?
Sound like you, you a bad man,
no,
boy. I ain't never heard you bow down like that.
Put them in their prime. Put them in their prime.
Yeah.
Right. And I've had the opportunity to see them all speak in their prime. Now you have a conversation. Who would win? I don't know. I know I would hold my weight with any of them.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Now putting them against each other, what about that? Like Jesse versus Farrakhan.
That's
prime.
Tough, because in his prime, Jesse was a bad man.
I need to go watch Jesse. I didn't know Jesse was hard, a bad man like that.
Even at the Million Man March, I thought his energy, maybe not necessarily his message, the message was that, but the energy behind it, it was he was one of the ones I remember the most, and I was out there. You know what I mean? So Jesse was bad. But remember, he studied King.
Right.
He was Malcolm. You know
King was hard too. Yeah.
But if you going historically all time, I don't think nobody's beaten Garvey, Douglas, and King.
Do they have any videos on YouTube? Where are you hearing this stuff at?
Well, with Garvey, there's some audio of Garvey. King, obviously.
Yes.
And Douglas, you can't get his audio, but you can get renditions of his voice done by people who heard him speak.
Okay.
You know, and that's how, you know, he had the baritone and the slow, strong delivery and that kind of thing. Yeah, I think Garvey and Douglas were the two greatest of all time, not just because they're my two, you know, favorite ancestors. And then I think Dr. King is right there behind them.
Right.
Dr. King's style was so different from anybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He had that cadence too.
Yeah, he was born to do what he did.
Yeah, he had that cadence.
All three of them. Well, you could tell the ones who were selected by the universe. You can
Yeah,
tell.
yeah. It's just part
Dr.
of
King was born to do. That's why Dr. King finished high school early, finished college early. Why was Dr. King life moving so fast? Because he had
responsibility
so much to do in a little bit of time to do it.
Wow.
And that's why in African tradition, we always talk about knowing your purpose. All of us negotiate a purpose in heaven with God before we incarnate. And this life is about you finding what is your purpose. What is your purpose for being? Everybody in this auditorium, you got a reason why you exist. And it is a divine reason. And you're supposed to spend your life finding and fulfilling your mission. And this is why if you find yourself not being happy, even though everything you have around you says you should be happy, you're probably not fulfilling your mission, right? You might be a multi-billion-dollar businessman, but you was not sent to this world to make money. You might have been sent to this world to make other people feel better about themselves. So this is where a lot of us end up being unhappy and feeling like, what's wrong with my life? I got money, I got, you know, beautiful wife, I got a nice car, nice house, job I don't want, but I'm not happy because you're not fulfilling your mission. God don't care about the checkbook. God don't care about the bank account. Why were you sent here? If you made it through your mother's womb, if you came out of that vagina, you have a reason for being here, because not everybody makes it out.
All right, it's Up There Podcast. Y'all take that game and do something with it. I thank every one of y'all from the center of my soul, from Dr. Umar Johnson. Definitely.
So, brothers, first of all, shout out to the It's Up There podcast. They got a lot of good videos on there, so I advise you guys to check it out. And I think I'm gonna probably start doing a little bit more. I'm gonna probably start using them as a backdrop for my reactions, because they got some pretty good videos on there. I think Dr. Umar, there's a part 2 and a part 1 on this too with Dr. Umar, where he speaks on Deion Sanders, and then he speaks. I also think he speaks about transgenders and homosexuality. So, pretty good podcast. I think you guys should check it out. But I just wanted you guys just to listen to Dr. Umar, because I think he be flip-flopping, and I don't really believe the things that he say. I don't really believe he believes what he says. I don't even think he'll even act on it. But that's pretty much it. We'll go ahead and see what's going on another show. But that's it.